What's up, Aquarius? This is Jesse with 44 Astro with a full moon tarot reading for the full moon coming up on May 23rd. This full moon will be at 9:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be at 2 degrees Sagittarius, which will put it in the 19th mansion of the moon. This mansion is all about kind of overcoming battle. It's not the greatest mansion. It's good for gardening, so you can read about it if you want. I'll have the picture up. And the astrology for an Aquarius ascendant. And if you don't know your ascendant, go to my astrology section and look up how to look up your natal chart. You need to know that when you were born, where you were born. I mean exactly down to the minute when you were born, where you were born, and the date. And you can look it up and find your ascendant. And then you would want to watch that video, whatever your ascendant sign is, and that'll give you an idea of what I'm talking about right now, which houses are going to be affected by the astrology. For an Aquarius ascendant, this moon will be in your 10th or 11th house. That's the house of your work and your social groups. The 11th house is your house. Large social groups. That's why a lot of Aquariuses can be famous, because the 11th house is large social groups, a lot of attention being on you kind of thing. 10th house is what you do to make money, your vocation, your role in this life, the service that you're going to give. But where that moon is kind of over there by itself, but it's touching a stellium, which is 3 or more conjunctions in a row, which means they're right on top of each other, where the sun is conjunct Venus, Jupiter, and Uranus. Those are all good planets, all touching each other in Gemini and Taurus. So there is a concentration of luck right there. And those houses for an Aquarius ascendant is your 4th and 5th house. 4th house is the house of your home or your mother, or your inner world, your emotions. So you have a lot of luck around those types of things. Or 5th house, which would be your expression in life, the way you put yourself out there, your mission. I mean, Aquarians are all about self-expression anyway. They always like to look different. They like to stand out. They like social interaction. That's what they rule. Ooh, right there was a card. Ooh, that's a good card. End of a tough cycle approaches. So if you're, and the moon is in Sagittarius, so that's big picture and wisdom. Gemini is details and knowledge. So knowledge compared to wisdom. And that's the axis, right? So there could be a lot of ideas right now that you can bring forth into the light and manifest them. If you take the big idea and you break it down and know what details you need to do and implement them right now, you'll probably have a lot of success, because there's a lot of lucky planets around that right now. And like I said, if you're Aquarius ascendant, that's your 4th or 5th house area. Buying a home, remodeling your home, doing something for your mother, interactions with your mother, are all going to be beneficial probably. Your emotional world, your inner world, you're going to be feeling happy, feeling good probably. 5th house, how you express yourself. You may change, how you look, what you do, and it's going to be well received, that type of thing. You may gamble. It might be lucky. 5th house is gambling. It's luck. You could be lucky. Don't gamble if you don't gamble. It's stacked against you. But I'm saying if you already gamble, then you may have some luck in it. But overall, there's not really anything malefic that's affecting that stellium or that moon touching it. Pluto's touching it, but he's touching it in a trine, in a sextile, touching the moon in a sextile, which is benefic in and of itself, even though Pluto represents power, domination, really. Ooh, right there. Oh, look at that. That's a very good card. It's opulence. That's having a lot. That's a new project. It could be pregnancy as well. So if you're not trying to get pregnant, be aware. And then Pluto's also trining the sun and Jupiter and Venus. And that's a beneficial aspect. So it's going to be like really giving it power, giving it motivation to do what it needs to do. So you could really create some things right now. If you want to bring it forward. There's a lot of luck for that. Could be around money too, because a lot of that's in Taurus. I think Jupiter, Venus, and Uranus are on Taurus. Just the sun that's in Gemini. But you could be having ideas around that. And now would be a good time to implement them. You'd be surprised how successful you'll probably be. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Looks like confusion. You have some kind of confusion. That could be what the tough cycle is. All up in your head. I told you that your emotions could be affected right now, because 4th house. If you're Aquarius ascendant. So you may be feeling a lot better about yourself. This card came out first. It just flipped out. This is a very good card. It could represent pregnancy. Whether you got somebody pregnant or got pregnant. And it could be somebody from work, because it's crossed by this. But it's likely a new project that you are now going to be working on and going to be showing or presenting to the world. Or just presenting to others, maybe not the world. I mean, Aquarians think big, so it could be the world. I think like an Aquarius, because I have Uranus on my ascendant, like conjunct it. So and it's in mutual reception with Aquarius, where Jupiter is, who actually rules my ascendant. So like Aquarius and Sagittarius for me are like prominent in my mentality. Behind you, some kind of boss probably, some kind of controlling person, but they're gone now. That's the end of that tough cycle. Either that's you're being really hard on yourself kind of thing, or somebody was kind of a demanding, controlling type individuals in your life, and you're like, bye-bye, end of a tough cycle. Now, was it easy? Probably not. If it's a job, it's not gonna be easy. If somebody was at work, if some just an overbearing person in your life, probably had you stressed, and you're probably worried about the moving on of it, because it probably in some way has like an effect directly on your life. One of the important aspects of it, like where you live, your job, how you make your money, or your spouse or something like that, family member, any of that. And if it has that kind of role in your life already, and you're trying to move on past that type of energy and that type of person, you're going to have to do a major change, because those are important aspects of your life. And my guess is it fell into one of those categories, this individual. It looks like, man, you're having bad dreams, because like in the unconscious is like resting and being peaceful and sleeping. But then in the conscious, it's like nightmares, and they both kind of involve sleep, because this one's sleeping, this one's in a bed. So if you're having bad dreams, I say always pay attention to your dreams, because everything in your dream is an aspect of you. So you need to kind of, if it's bad dreams, you need to kind of find out what it is within you, what pathology you need to track down. Language is all symbolic, right? And it's boundless down there, no sense of time. But if you start studying the symbolism, you'll probably start figuring out a narrative and how it relates to your life, especially if you start studying the symbolism of what these things could mean. Now, it could mean different to you, because you're a unique individual. But then you have to ask yourself, what did I actually think that symbol would mean, like that animal or that color or that person even? What I thought that actually meant to me. And then you start correlating those things and bringing it into your actual conscious experience of the things that have actually been happening. You can actually start figuring out what each symbol means in your daily life, especially when you look at your daily life. Break it down and be like, well, this happened, then I dreamed about this, so maybe it has something to do with that. And then if you look up symbolism for that specific thing and it seems to correlate with that, you figured something out. And you start paying attention. Then you can start doing the inner work. And that's how you open it up. That's how you open the channel between the conscious and unconscious, and you become an open being, a complete being. You merge your sun and your moon, and then you become the sun. Well, you become something else. You become your own creator, sort of. It's the whole aspect of alchemy and enlightenment and all that. In front of you is being a hermit or meditation. Are you needing to meditate? Whatever you're moving past here, the end of this tough cycle, you may be alone right now. I mean, if you had to leave someone or you had to leave a situation, you may feel lonely right now. And for Aquarius, that's not a good thing, because Aquarius is a social sign and they represent social. Now, if it's not super heavy in your chart, the Aquarius, if it's very muted or like you have other things, and this probably won't resonate with you, because, if you have Aquarius sun, then there's nothing on it. And then you have like an ascendant that's like another sign, and a moon that's another sign, and they have a bunch of aspects on them. Those are going to play a more prominent role in the expression of your life. But if you are a prominent Aquarian and you have like Aquarian expression like in your life, definite, it's going to have to do with social, big social groups. You're going to be a social person. It's just what it's going to be. And this is even saying like balance and rest too, right? And that might be what this is. You got 3 rest cards, in my opinion. Like this is kind of withdrawing a little bit, getting your ideas, getting your ducks in a row, working on the inner self, and that might be what needs to be happening. This is like the unconscious influence needing to rest, and maybe you haven't been able to rest. You've been worried about something. But the end of a tough cycle approaches. So whatever this person was or this situation was, even if you're just being hard on yourself, it's still ending. Like it's done. So only focus on it as long as you need to work through your process. Because if you can't get past worrying about it, then it controls you. Whatever that exterior thing that happened, or that exterior person, if you can't get them out your head and it's controlling your thoughts and your emotions, then they're controlling you. Your ability to have your own sovereignty is in your ability to decide how you think about it, how you feel about it, and therefore the actions that you take. You can't control that other person or that outside stimulus, but you can control your thoughts about it and your feelings. That's where your power is. Okay? And looks like that's what you're doing. You're retreating within. You're starting to trace the pathology. You're trying to really figure out what's going on so that you can heal, so that you can balance things. Move past this tough cycle. And it's going to be different for different Aquarians, right? Like in your environment, there's argument of some sort. Could be with family members, could be at work with coworkers, could be spouse, could be family, any of that. But there was some kind of arguments going on around. I'm guessing that's have to do with the tough cycle, right? And that's ending now. But that's what's in the environment, and that's probably what's got you worried. And you're like, you're tired of it. You're tired of being around that. You got to do what's best for you. The advice is have great strength. You can do this. She is not afraid of that lion, that beast biting her, because she is confident she understands the realities in her making, that she does have sovereignty over her own life, as do you, and it's your choice. The outcome is focusing on the spilled cups, but I'm telling you right now, there is an opportunity to focus on those cups that are behind you, the full ones, and it's ending. This tough cycle's ending. Whatever this situation is, it's ending. So if you have to retreat into yourself for a little while and work through whatever this is, the situation's different for different people. Could be you're getting away from an overbearing partner. Could be you get from an overbearing boss, overbearing friend, whatever. You got to get away from the overbearing people, right? You got to do what's best for you. And you'd be surprised that once you get on the other side of this, how things just open up and how more free things are going to be. Would not surprise me in the least, especially for Aquarius, because Aquarius are meant to fly. That's just what it is. They're meant to be out there. They're like Leos because they're on the same axis. They're meant to be the center of attention. They're meant to be like funny, social, charismatic, flashy, all those things. Just like Leo, they're on the same axis. Aquarians just think outside the box a little more, so they'll be a little more eclectic than Leos. But it's really idiosyncratic, and you would want to look at the whole chart anyway. But anyway, don't focus on these cups for too long. Only as long as you need to be able to work through them. Don't ignore it. Don't ignore your feelings. Don't ignore your thoughts. Acknowledge them all. But understand that that's exterior stimulus, and that it's stimulating your thoughts and feelings. You need to work through them, but you also need to understand that you do have a choice. You don't want to repress anything. You need to accept it. You need to work through it and talk to yourself and be, and reflect upon it and really try to understand it. That way it doesn't get pressed into the unconscious and then come back later in some random way. You want to work through it, truly. You want to actually acknowledge it and everything, but you don't want it to be there forever. If you can't get over it, then it's controlling you. You don't want that. Nobody wants to feel like they're out of control. That's like the basis of all trauma, is feeling complete loss of control, helpless. And that's what that is. And you have a choice within you, right? And I don't know that this situation is that traumatic, but it's clearly enough to make you worry. And worry, it really doesn't solve anything, doesn't help anything, right? Think about solutions rather than like, oh, poor me. Think about like, how do I fix this? How do I work through to getting to where I want or to where I can get better? Be solution oriented and look at the lesson more than like the happening, if that makes sense. Anyway, Aquarius, that's all I have. Please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting, and clicking the bell, because I don't think people are finding their way back to the channel. They only find their way back if it recommends it on that main page, and I don't think they recommend my videos a lot because I'm a small channel. So if you don't want to miss my videos, you got to click that little bell. That'll make sure that you know every time I upload, and it's every full moon and new moon, because astrology is fundamental to be able to use tarot as a medium. It just is. Like, that's why it's based off everybody's sign. Tarot doesn't exist without astrology, not in the way that it does. The fundamental science is astrology. The tarot is tertiary. But they can work together, and that's why every tarot reader should know astrology. And that way you don't want to do a disservice to your viewers, and you don't want to do a disservice to yourself. To limit yourself on your readings, because the readings can be far more beneficial if you know the astrology and stuff behind them, especially of the people that you're reading for. But anyway, that's all I have. You don't have to do any of that if you don't want to, Aquarius. I'm just glad that you're here, and I hope to see you here again. Happy full moon.